For a while now, Nissan's lineup has felt like it was stuck in neutral. Solid ideas here and there, but nothing that really grabbed the market by the collar. That's changing in 2027. The Japanese carmaker is introducing 10 new models that will make Nissan competitive again. We're talking a real mix this time. SUVs that actually make sense for families, trucks that don't feel like afterthoughts, cars that still care about drivers, plus a few familiar nameplates getting serious updates, and even some old badges making noise again. In this video, we're ranking the top 10 most interesting Nissan models entering 2027, from the ones that are cool and promising, all the way up to the vehicles that could genuinely shake up their class. Number 10. 2027 Titan Comeback. Nissan is admitting what most truck fans already knew. Walking away was a mistake. The Titan is coming back for 2027, and it's clear the company isn't treating this as a half-hearted return. The backbone of the new half-ton pickup will be the twin-turbo V6 that already lives under the hood of the Armada SUV. But with emissions rules easing up, Nissan suddenly has more breathing room. That opens the door for a revised version of the old V8 to make a comeback. Not the thirsty dinosaur from before, but a cleaned-up, modernized V8 aimed at buyers who still want that classic truck feel. Simple, loud, and confident when you hook up a trailer. At number 10, the 2027 Titan comeback isn't guaranteed to dominate the class, but it doesn't need to. Nissan just needs to show they're serious again. Number 9. 2027 Pathfinder Hybrid. The SUV got a light refresh for 2026. Mostly visual stuff. While it helped Pathfinder become more recognizable, it didn't solve the bigger problem. In today's midsize SUV world, buyers are paying close attention to what's happening under the hood, and that's where Nissan is falling behind when it comes to the midsize SUV class. The V6 is still a great engine. It's smooth, sounds right. But rivals have figured out how to keep decent power while seriously cutting fuel stops, and that matters a lot to families and commuters who rack up miles every week. Gas mileage has become a deciding factor, not a bonus. A hybrid Pathfinder for 2027 feels like the missing piece. Better city efficiency and quieter low-speed driving would make it far easier to recommend against hybrid versions of the Highlander, Grand Cherokee, or even the newer Korean competitors. Number 8. 2027 Xterra. It's strange this didn't happen sooner. The market for rugged off-road SUVs never went away, and Nissan has been sitting on a name that still carries real weight. The Xterra has fans who never moved on, and every year it stayed gone just made the comeback feel more overdue. What made it worse was watching Nissan sell the Terra SUV in other markets. The name that draws attention with the same idea and similar vibe, just not for the US. If you were an American Xterra fan, it felt like a tease. The demand was right there, the blueprint already existed, and somehow the timing never lined up. Until now. The 2027 Xterra is Nissan finally making a bold call with a proper off-road SUV. Boxy design, ground clearance, short overhangs, and the right hardware. That's something you can actually take into the dirt. There's room here for Nissan to lean into what made the original Xterra special: simple, tough, and honest. A vehicle built for camping weekends, muddy boots, scratched bumpers, and owners who don't mind using every inch of it. At number 8, the 2027 Xterra isn't about chasing luxury trends. It's about giving Nissan back some credibility in a market where authenticity still matters. Number 7. 2027 Rogue. Compact SUVs sell in massive numbers, and if you fall behind here, everything else starts to unravel. Nissan has managed to keep the Rogue in the fight, and for 2027 they're making sure it stays relevant, or even a bit more than that. All eyes are back on the crossover because it's finally getting a plug-in hybrid version. The big headline is the electric-only range of about 38 miles. The hybrid system itself is also getting a bump. Better efficiency overall, smoother transitions between electric and gas power, and a setup that feels more refined in traffic. No, it's not chasing the headline fuel economy numbers of the RAV4 or Escape. But what the Rogue plug-in promises instead is a drive that feels less numb, quicker response off the line, quieter cruising around town, and a little more personality when the road opens up. Number 6. 2027 Cube. This one feels almost surreal, like a rumor that refused to die. The Cube has been gone for so long that people stopped expecting it to ever return, kind of like the Honda Element. And yet, here we are. Nissan is about to bring the Cube back for 2027, and suddenly a whole forgotten corner of the market feels alive again. The original Cube wasn't fast or flashy. It was smart. Boxy shape, plenty of headroom, excellent visibility, and an interior that made city life easy. You could park it anywhere and load it up with surprising ease. That kind of practicality just disappeared on modern vehicles. Japanese automakers seem to be circling back to the idea of simple crossovers, built for people who want space and usability without committing to a big SUV. There are still buyers waiting for this type of vehicle, and Nissan knows it. The 2027 Cube comeback feels less like nostalgia for nostalgia's sake, and more like a calculated move to wake up a segment everyone else abandoned. Number 5. 2027 Navara USA. This is where Nissan starts flirting with chaos, but in a good way. Bringing the Navara to the US would be a bold move, but at this point, it feels inevitable. The Frontier got its update and kept the V6, which a lot of us respect, but the reality is harsh. The midsize truck segment moved fast, and the Nissan pickup hasn't kept pace with rivals. The Navara could change that instantly. This truck already exists just south of the border in Mexico, so it's not some far-fetched concept pulled out of thin air. The bones are there. What Nissan would need is proper US market tuning. The real value here is the name and what it represents. Navara carries weight globally. Drop that badge in the United States and people will pay attention, especially buyers who feel like mid-sized trucks have become too safe and predictable. Right now, this is still a rumor, and that's why it lands at number 5. But if Nissan makes this official, we'll have to redo this entire countdown, because a US spec Navara would instantly jump to the top. That's how disruptive this move could be. Number 4. 2027 Nissan Z update. The Nissan Z has always been a halo car, the one that reminds people the company can do more than SUVs and trucks. For 2027, it's getting a facelift, and the updates were just revealed at the Tokyo Auto Salon. Nothing too radical, but enough to keep it fresh and exciting for fans. The most noticeable changes are sharper headlights, a slightly more aggressive bumper, and tweaks to the grille. Around back, the taillights get a cleaner look, and the exhaust tips feel more purposeful. Inside, the 2027 Z gets an updated infotainment system and minor refinements to the cabin materials. Powertrain-wise, the familiar twin-turbo V6 is carried over. The new version of the Nissan Z will be available stateside in 2027. Number 3. 2027 Maxima return. It might feel like full-size sedans are on life support, but the truth is, there's still a market for them. Not everyone wants an SUV or a truck. The 2027 Maxima is essentially an evolution of a proven recipe. It will keep strong points, the smooth V6, the composed ride, and the cozy cabin. But it will also update everything that needs a refresh, a more practical design, and an efficient ride. The Sentra recently got its all-new 2026 version and continues to appeal to compact sedan buyers. And now the Maxima returns to cover the full-size side of the market. For those who still love sedans, this is exactly what they've been waiting for. A familiar name, refined for a new generation. Number 2. 2027 Armada V8 upgrade. The SUV has been cruising along nicely with the twin-turbo V6 under the hood. It's a solid engine with 516 pound-feet of torque and 425 horsepower. You can even tow up to 8,500 pounds with it. But let's be real, when you're talking about a full-size SUV that's built like a tank, there's always a crowd that wants a proper V8 under the hood. Nissan dropped theirs when emissions and efficiency rules were at their strictest. But those restrictions have loosened, opening the door for the classic big engine comeback. For 2027, a revised V8 is about to return as an optional powertrain, aimed squarely at buyers who still want that rough, effortless power. It's a notable move, and it earns the number 2 spot on this list. Only one model in the 2027 lineup is more game-changing. Number 1. 2027 GT-R. If there's one move on this list that truly defines Nissan's 2027 lineup, it's the comeback of the GT-R. Let's call it what it is. Discontinuing the last generation was a mistake. The GT-R has never been about sales numbers. It's not meant to outsell crossovers or trucks. It's a halo car, a statement. It shows the world exactly what Nissan can do when it flexes its engineering muscle. And the fans never went away. If Toyota can still make sports cars that get people talking, then Nissan can too. The GT-R has always had that mix of raw performance, precision handling, and growl from the engine bay that makes your pulse spike. The 2027 version promises to push all of that further with stuff like updated twin-turbo power and sharper chassis tuning. Bringing the GT-R back is Nissan's boldest trick for the upcoming season.